이건 오토지에 내거나 맡기고.
The stereotype.
Hi there.
Hey,
What's this in your back pocket? I just saw you walking it.
the navigational aids. What's the problem? You a tyrant?
Yeah, I am actually. What's your name and date of birth?
I don't have to give that unless
Yes,
I'm
sir.
here.
I was
You
investigating.
have reasonable.
Do you want me to
articulated
put you in
suspicion.
handcuffs right now? Yes, sir, I do.
What is your suspicion?
It looks like you're carrying a gun in your back pocket. I'm stopping to make sure you're carrying it properly. You don't
Have
have
you
to.
ensured that it's not a firearm?
No, you keep turning so I can't see it. You don't have to be a dick to me.
Well, you're being one to me.
No, sir. I'm
Have a
doing my
good day.
job.
Am I detained?
Yeah, you are. What's your name and date of birth?
It does not matter.
Yes, sir, it does.
Do you have a crime?
Would you like me
Call
to
your
put you in?
supervisor,
He's right
please.
here.
All right.
Don't you? Don't,
Sir, what's she stop you for? For a walking stick.
so
And it could look like a weapon. She asked you to present it, okay? Now she's asking me for ID. Okay. I don't need the ID unless there's reasonable articulated suspicion that I have committed a crime and committing a crime or about to do a crime.
Sir, and her suspicion was that you were armed, okay? And she's asking you for your ID.
Well, now she has verified that I am not armed.
Okay.
So there is no
you have
problem.
your ID or not?
I do have my ID, but you don't need it.
Okay. Okay.
There, you deserve it.
7 Whiskey Mike detained
You are not allowed to search me.
in this pocket.
There you go.
Thank you.
Green.
All right, Mr. Hodges. Was that hard?
It's gonna be. I want your name and your badge number. You know, I put him in jail for resisting.
Okay. All right, let's go.
I want your name and badge number too, sir.
Have a seat.
You wanna pick my property up,
I
please?
sure will. After you have a seat.
I think that wasn't harsh enough. Excuse me. For the simple fact, they was harassing a blind dude. Come on now. She said it was a walking stick. You should have said, oh shit. Oh shoot. Sorry, sir. Go on about your day. You know what I'm saying? Should have let the man go on by his day. But yeah, you still want to harass and arrest this guy for no reason for walking. Your assumption was clearly wrong, so you should have left him alone. And then, you know what I'm saying? So it should have been like a month without pay. And then go through a little extra classes just because that is something you do not do. Now, what if he wasn't blind? You know what I'm saying? And he started to go blind. He definitely mentally not going to be comfortable in the right mind state because he can't believe that this is happening to him. Now, if he was always blind, you know, he learned to live like that. But still, he's blind.
이건 오토지에 내거나 맡기고.
The stereotypical little old lady is kind and generous, but some will leave you unable to trust anyone. Today we're covering old women who turned out to be cold-blooded killers. Number 3. Dorothea Puente. Dorothea Puente seemed like the stereotypical sweet old lady next door who helped those in need. She was a landlady who ran a boarding home in Sacramento that sheltered the homeless and disabled.
This could be my grandmother.
She seemed so sweet.
The local social workers trusted Dorothea because she accepted the toughest cases when nobody else did. They didn't realize she was hiding behind a mask until everything unraveled with a tenant named Alvaro Bert Montoya. In 1988, social worker Judy Moyes entrusted Dorothea with Montoya, who was mentally disabled. When he missed a regular check-in with Moyes, she asked Dorothea where he was. Dorothea gave her conflicting answers, so Moyes reported him missing. Police went to Dorothea's house and found nothing unusual inside. Tenants also reported nothing unusual, but then one of them slipped an officer a note saying, "She's making me lie for her." Police then went to check the backyard and started digging. They found a human body, but they knew it wasn't Montoya because it was too decomposed.
Sir, I have not killed anybody.
Maybe you didn't kill anybody. That may be true. But maybe you know what really happened.
The next day, police continued digging and found 5 more bodies.
She's been digging a lot of holes.
Then Dorothea managed to escape the police as evidence of her crimes piled up.
We found 7 bodies now.
It turned out that Dorothea Puente had a lengthy criminal history and was practically violating parole by running a boarding house. She also claimed to be 15 years older than she was and intentionally wore vintage clothes and oversized glasses to look older.
She played that part so she could take advantage.
She would drug, kill, and bury her victims in her backyard. Then she would collect their Social Security benefits. She was later linked to 2 more bodies found elsewhere, her boyfriend and her business partner. Police eventually found her in LA, where she was trying to befriend her next target. She was convicted of 3 of the murders and sentenced to life without parole.
Well, dang, Dorothy, you out here kidnapping and murdering old folks and taking their Social Security money and burying them in your own backyard, claiming to be older than you look, and I'm up here wondering myself, you was doing this by yourself, woman? Like, dang, lady, she up here just collecting checks and checks on banks and banks, bodies on bodies, and Social Security numbers on Social Security numbers. Man, I cannot believe this lady was out here doing what she was doing.
Without parole. Number 2, the Black Widows. Helen Golay and Olga Rutterschmidt were 2 friends in their 70s. Kenneth McDavid was a 50-year-old aspiring screenwriter. He'd hit a rough patch and became homeless when the 2 elderly women offered to take him in. With his rent, food, and clothes covered by 2 guardian angels, what could go wrong? In 2005, McDavid was found dead in an alley in what looked like a hit and run. But the closer police looked, something felt off.
When a tire hits the chest, it's going to crush the chest cavity, and it's going to cause the ribs to break and to puncture the lungs, and it's going to cause massive internal bleeding in both chest cavities.
The tire was not flat, so it wouldn't require changing, and there were no tools around. It was just this bike.
Whenever a body is found on a roadway and appears to have been run over, I always ask the question, why were they laying there on the roadway? Were they injured prior to being dumped on the roadway and then run over? Were they taking some drugs or alcohol, something that impaired their judgment?
The only thing they found on McDavid was 2 photo IDs. Golay went to the morgue, identified McDavid, claimed to be his fiancé, and asked for him to be cremated. Rutterschmidt went to the police, claiming to be his cousin, and emotionlessly asked for a copy of the police report. Meanwhile, McDavid's autopsy revealed a large amount of sedatives in his system. An insurance investigator found out that the 2 women had previously purchased a $1 million life insurance policy, claiming to be his business partners, which contradicted what they each told police. But later, the investigator learned that McDavid was homeless, making all of the women's claims fraudulent. Detectives remembered an eerily similar unsolved case. In 1999, a homeless man named Paul Vados was killed in an apparent hit and run. The same 2 women cashed out on his insurance policy. Golay claimed to be his fiancé, lacking any emotion. Rutterschmidt also claimed to be his cousin and wanted a copy of the police report. 3 years later, in 2002, the con artists targeted a homeless man named Jimmy Covington. Rutterschmidt approached him, offering the same benefits, but asking too many questions. They even took out a life insurance policy on him, but Jimmy escaped, unknowingly saving his own life.
They'd already murdered 2 men that was going to murder me.
In total, investigators found the duo took out 26 insurance policies worth $7 million. When put under surveillance, Helen and Olga were caught working on their next homeless victim. In 2006, the duo was arrested. When left alone, they say too much.
You were greedy. That's the problem. No, we're gonna go to jail. They're gonna lock you up. Admit it was your fault. Because what you did, of course I got angry.
Police then found Golay's car, which was the murder weapon. The Black Widows were charged with 2 counts of murder and conspiracy to murder for financial gain. They were sentenced to life without parole. Number 1.
Man, these 2 old ladies. See, man, and I'll be into old women too, man. Just to see this shit, hell no, they ain't about to get no short policy on me. But nah, man, for real though, I do be into older women. Younger ones too. But at the same time, if y'all gonna be out here doing this type of shit on the brother, never mind. Cause that's crazy as hell. They out here motherfucking killing people and collecting insurance money and all this and that stuff and blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't even think to do anything like that just to get some money. You know what I'm saying? That would be like the last thing I would even think like that, to be honest.
Number 1. Tamara Samsonova. Tamara Samsonova is a Russian serial killer. In 2003, her husband suspiciously disappeared, and Samsonova began renting out a room in her apartment. After a fight with a tenant, she murdered him, dismembered, and disposed of his body. In 2015, Samsonova met 79-year-old Valentina Ulanova and asked to temporarily stay with her. She outstayed her welcome and refused to move out. Ulanova told her that she needed to leave, a terrible mistake. Samsonova laced Ulanova's food with poison, then sawed off her head and dismembered the body. The remains were later found near a pond, where Samsonova had carried them using plastic bags, shower curtains, and pots. When police went to Ulanova's apartment, they found traces of blood in the bathroom, a hacksaw, and a missing curtain. So, they arrested the then 68-year-old, who immediately confessed to the murder and 3 others. They also found in her diary descriptions of 10 killings, including the tenant murder from 2003. Police also believe that Samsonova may have been a cannibal who ate lungs, as she always removed them. When asked directly, she said, "It is not excluded." Although she may have killed around 13 people over 15 years, there was a severe lack of evidence. Ultimately, she was diagnosed with schizophrenia and sentenced to life in a mental hospital.
Hey, girl. Hey, she let it be known you got a problem with me. Hey, I'm taking you out. I ain't got time for this arguing games and stuff like that. She already let you know she ain't about that drama because she got that llama for you. And she up here saying, "Dang, I love you, but I gotta kill you." That's crazy though, man, seeing these old women, you know what I'm saying, up here with these gifts and milfs. You know what I'm saying? They up here taking people out and doing the unthinkable because you thinking like, damn, why would you take me out for a woman?
This story out of California is shocking. This is Michael Mammon, an emergency room doctor out of Laguna Beach. Police say on Wednesday afternoon he was out riding his bike when he stopped at a red light. When the light turned green, this white Lexus plowed right into the doctor on his bike from behind.
The car hits Mike strongly, which projects him all the way through the intersection.
That's not the end of the story. The 39-year-old man inside of the Lexus then got out of the car and went over to the doctor laid out on the street, but not to help him. Instead, he began stabbing him. Witnesses then held the man back until cops arrived, and Michael was taken to the hospital where he died. The hospital where Michael worked called his death a stunning tragedy, and police are still trying to understand why all this went down between 2 people who didn't seem to know each other at all.
We currently don't truly understand the why. As far as motivation and any type of relationship, we don't know, but the investigators are keeping all options open.
The Lexus driver who stabbed Michael to death has been booked on suspicion of murder.
And at first I thought it was a...
Man, that's messed up. You mean to tell me that somebody killed an emergency room doctor? Oh yeah, my face is called facial cellulitis. Just so y'all looking and y'all like, what the heck going on with this guy's face? But yeah, it's called facial cellulitis, and you know, got that going on right now. Body stressed out. But anyway, rest in peace, Mike. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you was loved and a lot of people cared for you, all that stuff. So it's just crazy to see that this guy plowed into you, got on his vehicle and stabbed you the way he did. Now, you might have worked on somebody he loved and cared about and probably couldn't save him. And now he mentally going through it. So this is probably why he did what he did to this doctor. Sad, man.